Ameruman once, Vision.
Yeah.
Live show, male spaces, sports guys here, seasoned media, OGs here, debates, bags of money, grow Mantalk into its full potential.
I think what Mantalk's taught me is if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. Failing forward and being vulnerable to a sense, the consistency in the work speaks for itself.
It speaks to what Mantalk has been.
Because of what we're doing, it's so easy to say, I'm done. And we did at one point.
Guys, the podcast was over.
October 2023.
What would you want to see Mantalk do more of? And what would you want less of?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mantalk.ke. We're at the end of a really, really beautiful season, and we thought we'd close it out the way we started, which is a conversation between me and Mr. Come. As always, we're here at Glee Nairobi, and thank you so much, Johnny Walker, for being an incredible partner this season. You encouraged us to talk all about brighter stories. We had some amazing examples of that with guests, and today we're going to talk about ours as well. As usual, we're in Glee Nairobi. We have a montage for you to get an idea of how the place looks and to encourage you to come as well and experience the space. So, without further ado, Mr. Come.
Where's my camera?
Tell him.
I think this episode is the summing up, the culmination of all of the brighter stories that we've told so far during this 8-episode season. We really hope you've enjoyed it. It brought us out of our break, and we want to do this episode for you, who's been watching, who's been supporting us, liking our content, sharing, subscribing, who argues with us in the comments, who fights with us in the chats. We'll get in there. It's nice, down and dirty. We love it. Thank you so much for your time. And that's why we're shooting this episode. Mr. Eli Mwenda.
Mr. Come.
How are you feeling? It's been 6 years now.
Gosh.
Going on to 7.
Yes, going on to 7. I think Mantalk's been one of the biggest anchors in my life. And I think one of the fun things we do sometimes is scrolling back a few years to, number one, look at how we've changed. Physically. We talked about follicles last season.
Good God.
Yes, we've changed mentally, physically, the circles changed, the sets changed, but I think we've remained consistent in terms of like what the message has always been. So I feel really nice that we're on set, everything's under control, and we're still sticking to the mission of having conversations. And I think I love the beautiful idea of finally also having a partner that understands what we're doing, which is like positive conversation, positive, brighter stories. So I'm very content with Mantalk. Sometimes we look at the different ventures in my life and one's, not doing great, one's doing great. And Mantalk's always been a bit, volatile, but I think we're at a place of peace with the brand, with ourselves, with our friendship. So I'm feeling really good today. How are you?
When I think about Mantalk now, it's a story of evolution. When we started off 2019, I believe.
Yes, 2019.
I came in at episode 3, if you remember. And now we've built this brand into something that is actually tangible, that's worked with a lot of generations. A lot of people went to campus. It's been a 6-year, 7-year journey. They're still watching it from first year to now.
Yeah.
This is a second year professionally. If it was a baby, Mantalk would be speaking.
Wow. Yes.
Yes, it would. It would have had its first day in school.
Yeah.
So where we are now is we're at this lovely crossroads where we can take this incredible brand and turn it into something that's really, really impactful. And the thesis has always been, as much as in previous episodes, this season I know we've not had a strong male representation. We've tried to do that job with me and Eli myself. But I think it's now finally time for us to incorporate more stories, more ideas from previous generations and generations moving forward. And I'm very excited for that phase of our journey.
Couldn't agree more. What's Mantalk taught you this season specifically, from either what guests have said or things happening in your personal life that's reflected into Mantalk as an individual outside of business?
The immediate piece of feedback that I got from Mantalk that's really, really enlightened me was the you will get to where you're going. I think that piece from Dora was something that was very powerful. And it speaks to what Mantalk has been, where we will get to where we are going. For those of us who've been following us when we used to do the Instagram lives and a lot of different things, I think what's really been powerful for me has been just going through that journey as a person of reflection, of asking questions and answering them, of even responding to comments. For example, the oceans analogy. Yeah, some people took the comment out of context. Some people didn't like it. I love you. but I will fight with you in the comments. And I grew a lot from that perspective as well. I think it's a very powerful thing. There's a lot to take away from this season. So I think the ones I'd go with is the you'll get to where you're going, that journey and evolution. And also I think a piece that really, really resonated with me was with Zia. I think his ability to communicate his evolution and his growth, as controversial and as difficult as it was, is something that I found to be very, very interesting.
No, that's really beautiful. I think on my end, I think what Mantalk's taught me, it's such an interesting, like I said, part of my life, because we record on a weekend, right? And so I think let's say in the last year, last season and then this season, Mantalk has made me have something bigger than me that I need to do. And I feel like sometimes you can have so much going on in your life, but then there's a mission and a thing you've said you're going to do. My dad always, and I said this in my marathon caption, is like, if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. And we always said we're going to put out content, we're going to deliver for the client, for the audience. And even days where, specifically the season when we shot at my house, I was rock bottom. Like, I look back at the episodes, I can just see it in my eyes. But I think what's so beautiful is that they always say when you're going through a hard time, the best thing you could do is do something for someone else. And I found that having to come out my room, sit there, say, welcome back to Mantalk.ke, even if there was chaos going on, gave me some sort of purpose and some sort of like guiding force. And I felt that by giving to the audience, by investing in our friendship and our product, it made me come out of what I was going through, because I was pouring into the audience, to guests, to yourself. And I think without me doing it intentionally, just by obligation, it meant that it became a really beautiful crutch for me during a hard time. So I think that's been one of the most beautiful things about Mantalk. And then what's so interesting is now coming and shooting at Glee, coming and doing this season, being in a completely different headspace, being so at peace with everything else going on, and then still doing the same action. It kind of validates the resilience that you have in your personal life when you're still running it, because it's a company, still running a company regardless of the chaos. So it's given me a kind of like a North Star. To be going after.
Something that we kind of noticed, I just want to give everybody like like a view of what's happening in the back rooms is, do you remember when we sat down after preparing a pitch at like 10 o'clock at night, getting out of Glee at like 10 o'clock at night? How many nights like those have we had where we're like sending pictures? So I've come from the office from a full day of work. You've come from your influencer work where you've shot, you've been doing shoots the whole day. You've been working with clerks on different like promotions and stuff. And like, we have to still sit down and deal with the baby. The baby needs to have its diaper changed. She's like, okay, we need to send pictures out. We need to think about the next phase for Mantalk. We took a break for almost a year. What does that really mean? Okay, what's the, like, all this ideation that goes into this brand is something that me and you have shouldered. It looks easy, but it's really given us like that resilience as men as well, which is like, no, you got to get it done.
100%. And there's an element that there's a kind of risk that we have with Mantalk, right, where we've always been about having some sort of positive message or sharing our lessons or like failing forward and being vulnerable to a sense. And I think one of the things that happens is there's kind of like people assume because you're doing the best you can publicly that you are perfect. And so I feel like now when we're putting out content, there's kind of like maybe an assumption that there's a arrogance of knowledge that we have. And I feel like what's happened with doing this over such a period of time is that noise becomes so quiet because the consistency in the work speaks for itself. So I think it's been such a beautiful thing as well, looking back and saying, okay, 6 years, regardless what's said about the product, about you as an individual, you can't argue with consistency and doing the best you can publicly, because I think a lot of the time when you get discouraged, especially when you're public, is because, like Azia said as well, people putting their own insecurity and frustration onto somebody that's doing something public and having conversations maybe that people aren't confident enough to have. So I've had people in real life, outside of life, like saying, you know, either Mantalk's fake or like you're performative, all these sort of things. And I think one of the most beautiful things is having a partner like you that understands me with a 360 view. Because I think one of the biggest things is I don't think everyone deserves the full version of you. But I think the closest people, yourself, the boys in my life, my family, it's been such a beautiful thing because that's what's kept the product going, because there's so many instances where, because of what we're doing, it's so easy to say, I'm done. And we did at one point. We were nearly done.
We're nearly done. But
we're
guys,
done. Yeah.
The podcast was over.
October 2023. The episode we talked about with Sharon and Dora.
Yeah.
During that period, we both came back from elsewhere.
Yeah.
We sat down in my house and we had a very serious conversation. We said, life is really hectic. And we always said we never want life to catch up with
Mantalk.
Yeah. And we felt like it did because of the chaos going on in our lives. And we kind of left that conversation with like a lot of frustration, not towards each other, towards the situation. We're pouring money into it, etc.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing was, as much as we said, okay, one thing we said is, let's not make a decision from emotion in this moment.
And from a place of scarcity.
And then within less than a month,
we got a call
for Johnny Walker. Yeah, and they fit perfectly into our mission. And so I think that's been one of the best things, like going on that journey with people that understand you fully and building a callus to negativity online. You had one of your first experiences too, building the callus to that, and then taking all those lessons, just implementing it into other areas of our lives. That's what Mantalk's been to me over the last few years. It's very
easy to be a hater from you're not in the game.
Yeah,
like you're not even on the bench. Yeah. You're not
outside
in the crowd. You're like you're hating from like you're not near the game. Like we're playing the game. We're really playing the game. We're really in the middle of. This is Michael Jordan, LeBron James, trying to put nets in the basket every day.
Yeah.
Like there's a team behind us, they're behind the camera smiling at us. We love them very much, all of them. Shout out to Anini, shout out to Anita, shout out to Austin. We have like teams behind us, like who trust that we are able to deliver season in, season out. We have to pay bills. People like they love us, but not for free.
Come on.
So we have to be able to actually like make this thing a product, like a business. And the vision for Mantalk, I was on this podcast called My Tech Story, really good, where we spoke a bit about my career and what Mantalk could be. The vision of Mantalk has always been to be a men's marketing platform, right? And I do agree that there's a lot we could do better in terms of working with men. And if you're in the comments and you're a man and you want to throw us a comment to tell us how you think we can make content that's tailored for you, please let us know. But what became very apparent to us in the early days is making men's content is expensive.
Very.
Right? You need to be able to have the cars to shoot. You know that sound of a Porsche GTR. Before we do that, shout out to Lukman and George Kingara, who I hope one day will say on this podcast, where you're looking at men who are making content for men, but you're seeing the cost as well. You're like, damn, man. There's a real time and money commitment that goes into making content for men. Sports, there's a time and money commitment that goes into that. Okay. With Mantalk as a podcast, how do we take it to a place where finally we can start to touch into those tangential places where we know men sit? And I think that's the next question. How do we ask for advice from the next generation of men or the generation that's been behind us? Like what happened with the Gen Z episode, having Albi, Muli, and Keith Tupac on the podcast. Like that is a platform, that is a trajectory that we want Mantalk to maintain. That heat of these are a place where men's voices and men's opinions will be heard and valued no matter how controversial they are. So that's been something that I'm really, really looking forward to. And to have a partner like you through that journey has been a blessing as well. You see my career. You know, right? You were there the day I sat with you for a meeting. There's
been many sit downs.
Law is over, finance is now.
Yeah, and we're still here.
I
think what's been, because I always want somebody watching to extract something. They always say, like, don't go into business with friends and, it's risky, all this sort of things. I think building something with anybody, romantic, platonic, it really brings out all the worms from the dirt that you need to deal with together and plow together. And I think we had a conversation, was it 2 weeks ago? And at the end of it, I think you checked me on something and you said that, and I think the only reason we're able to check each other or hold each other accountable is because we've set a personal standards when building this, and we set certain moral compasses and guides. And I think that comes from, if you're making a business, you have to decide what kind of business you're going to do. You have to decide what kind of partner you're going to be to your friends, to romantic, etc. So I think creating something that you can look at as tangible, we can scroll back and say, look, we're still here 6 years later. I think it really helps the person that's next to you hold a mirror to yourself, hold a mirror to themselves as well. And I feel like I encourage people to create something with someone, because there's lessons that you can only get from going through the mud and going through this like volatile experience, especially when it comes to business. So I actually encourage doing business with friends that have the same like moral compass that you do.
Basically morality is a key part, like having the same values and that value alignment, but not just the morality in terms of being good communicators. I think communication is what has kept this business of ours going and this friendship of ours going as long as it has. It's that thing of like, yo, bro, me, I'm in the hole. Like, we need help out this hole. Like, remember, we had to take people to court about money that you had invested a significant portion of. So, like, we won the case, and you know, like, getting that money back to you was something we had to think about, like, strategically. That was a hard conversation of, okay, like, this money has come in, he's invested this much, we need to make sure that that money comes back. And so, like, even conversations of that nature, like, you need to make sure that you can have those conversations with your friends. It's values alignment, it's communication, but also another thing that I think is very important to say, it's vision. Like a shared vision. I think a lot of times people want to take a business in 2 or 3 different directions, especially when they're 2 founders. Eli probably might see fashion, you know, fashion, lifestyle, food. And then me, I'm seeing finance, investment, retail. Okay, we both see the business as having this plural potentiality. How do we make it all come together and serve us both? Because we are both seeing value in a unique way, right? Eli's perspective on, because he's done this, we've worked these 6 years together. His perspective is valuable. Oscar's perspective is also valuable. So how do we create rooms where we can create a creative business, like a highly profitable business, in a way that is clever and includes both of our objectives and directions? And that's been a very powerful thing, that you're able to accommodate my stuff, even if sometimes you won't see the fuller picture, but you'll be like, Oscar's probably right. There's something he's seeing, and there's a trust there. And I wouldn't know when you start telling me, these brands will pay. I'm like, how the hell are they paying like that? Like, what the hell? Like, and they pay. And so, like, it's that trust that I think also has really, really grown over time. I have a question for you. What would you want to see Mantalk do more of, and what would you want Mantalk to do less of?
It kind of ties into what you said earlier. I think there's a humility you need when creating a business, right? And like a respect, like you said, when it comes to, I have to sit and say, okay, this is my feeling, but it's a 50-50 decision, which is going to be the high quality decision, right? And I think you have to be open to critique. So to answer your question, I think this happened recently with actually Lydia, which will give her flowers. She said, you have an amazing brand, but she said to you on the phone, it's a bit too much like a production and a show. And you need that personal connection with your audience, either on the ground or even digitally, like that kind of more tailored and making the audience feel more seen. Because sometimes you can record and go because you have so many other ventures we're doing in life. So I think I'd like to see Mantalk do more community-based activities, activations, and more empowering things on small scale as well, like bespoke experiences. And it's not even about the noise. It's like, there's 10 of us here. We've had a very deep conversation that's centered around our mission. It might not even be online, but like getting to go on the ground and like touch the hands, hug, and chat to people that we've impacted in a certain any kind of capacity. I would like us to do more of that as a brand, as a company. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, good, bro. I think.
What about you?
There's definitely an opportunity there, like light touch.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend
big. There's 10 people, 10, 20 people.
Yeah. I agree. 2 things on my mind. 2026. Live show must happen.
Of course, naturally. We've been saying it for years.
Yeah, we've been saying for years. Finally, I think Mantalk is ready to do that. I think we have the right density of sponsors, density of followers, density of even individual will to actually execute on our first live show. And I think we finally have a clear vision. Like, that's something we've never. It's amazing that it's come now, but we have to. God goes with the glory. So the live show is the first piece. But the second piece I think that I wish we did more of is I'd want us to lean more into male spaces. More sports guys here, more seasoned media, like OGs here, more, I'd say, even a little bit, it might be a little dangerous, but spicy politicians. Like, because in our community, unfortunately in Kenya, they're the rock stars. Like, they're the ones who move culture so much. So I don't want to hear their perspective. How did you become this guy from the village to this great thing. So like those stories, how did you become this great thing to that guy in the village again? Like how did you, those like difficult stories of change and life, you built a business that collapsed, even that hard story, and you're a man. We bring it here. And I hope Mantalk will get to a point where the critical community will allow space for people who are not just celebrities, but just guys who have a good story. Like that would be my, like the peak of whatever it is we're doing. And then obviously there's the other commercial aspects of turning that into an online space as well, and where we can do things in a much more creative and clever way. But first we start with leaning more into male spaces and male guests who have a good story. But obviously to get there we do need a certain amount of followers, and I do understand that work.
Do you know what, if I'm going to be very, very candid, so I think when you talked about our decisions 50-50, so me and you are very different. Like we're literally polar opposites, right? I have hair here. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? We're literally the opposite individual. But I think there's a beauty in that, right? So I think what I've realized as well is, in terms of both of us, you're definitely the extroverted person. You're definitely more introverted, more quiet, right? And I think what I've noticed is when I've lent into your decisions of, let's have a bit of friction with either the guest or like, I stayed away from that so much because, again, when I said that I don't think everyone should experience the full 360 of you, I was like, Mantalk, you get this much of Eli. I reserve some of it, even like humor and things like that, for other spaces. But I think having the humility to say, okay, if Oscar has a perspective, I'm going to lean into that perspective. And so even now when you say like politicians, I do wince as my first instinct. I wince as my first instinct. I have thoughts. But I think it's that humility bit to be like, okay, let me listen to what Oscar's saying when it comes to this. And there'll be certain strategic things when I'm on this side of the fence that you listen to as well. Yeah. But what I think, coming from where we've like not butted heads but thought differently, is having guests that have very polar opinions of life, of masculinity, of just because I really believe you can learn something from everybody. And just because in one aspect of somebody's life you don't agree, it doesn't mean that there's parts of their journey you can't learn from. So I feel like, to add on to your point about some of the kind of guests and male spaces, we typically will sit down and have a list of people, but we'll say, okay, this guy doesn't really align with our values, but sometimes that's what it's about. Exactly. That's what it's about. And it's like, maybe they'll come to the show and then and this happens even outside of a show. This is just advice for life. Like you might think differently, but when we come together, there'll be a middle ground and there'll be points to take from each of you, because I don't think we allow for grey area. Everything seems to be so absolute when it comes to certain parts of your adult life and who you want to interact with. But I think having people like that on, where we disagree, and then in the audience there's people on different sides of the fence, but then they kind of connect in the comments, I think that would make the experience of a listener, or even experiences just in life outside of a podcast, much richer, because you can stay in a very safe bubble and say, I want to operate with. I have to shout out our community, especially now, where they're like debates. I am a big believer of, you don't agree with Oscar, tell Oscar you don't agree. Put it in the chat, say at Oscar Come. I think you're, like one said, you're a Meru misogynist. Excellent. Thank you very much. Tell me why you're this. Like, let's actually have that debate. Like, I really like that tension, and that's the community we're trying to build, where we don't want a community of guys who are just like, snap. No. It's like, I think this is wrong, I think this is right, and this is why. Because if our community is able to do that, then it's saucy. Like, there's that tension that we want to create that actually makes the opportunity for us to shoot these podcasts and create these communities amazing. Where it's like, I don't agree with your views on religion, man. Like, I don't like that part where you said you want a guy who's financially stable, and then you also want a guy who's super Christian. I don't think that's realistic. Like, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's mix it up. Like, let's make it saucy, but let's be respectful, of course. Thank you for saying that, because I was let's be respectful. Like, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have an alternative opinion, but don't be disrespectful. Misogynistic middleman is cutting it close, but I can take it. I don't know if somebody else can. No, I think it's disrespectful. I think what I would say is, like, I completely agree with what you're saying, but I think for us, even as a platform in general, there's a tendency to assume that because people have a certain demeanor or a certain way they navigate their life, that they're going to tolerate disrespect or tolerate certain things. I think for us as a platform, yes, like you're saying, yes, disagree, but as soon as it goes over that line, they'll just be blocked, restricted. You just won't have access to the platform anymore. And it doesn't mean you'll get a response either. I think it's very important to say sometimes, because when you put yourself publicly, sometimes you say, oh, let me just get a flogging. That's not okay. We're human beings as well. So as much as we
The
give,
debates.
yeah, you're not going to see us calling out people in the comment section.
Yeah.
The same way we don't expect to see that too. So if people assume because, progressive conversations, debate, it doesn't mean disrespect will ever be tolerated.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. There's context where we are Kenyan. Sometimes we can
Doesn't
be
make it acceptable.
disrespectful.
Doesn't make it
Not even Kenyan, globally. But like we can become disrespectful sometimes when we have discourse. This is not the platform that is designed that way. This platform is designed for deep thinking individuals, like sapiosexuals. This is your home. If you're a sapiosexual and you're watching this, this is home. Come here. We'll take care of you.
Yeah,
You're a sapiosexual. So are we.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Sit down. You don't like something, you have an idea you want to put in the comments, throw it in there. You want, right now, Eli and I will be designing the live show soon. You have something to say about the live show, throw it in there. Like, we are here to take care of you, our dear sapiosexuals. So if you're not here and if you're here for the first time, like, share, subscribe.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. What do you hope? So we're towards the end of the year. I think this will come out as the year's kind of ending. What are you hoping for going into the next year and season
Bags
of your of your life and for the pod? What do you see, friend?
When are we marrying wives, bana?
We've had this conversation. The water's hotter than usual. We've had this conversation. Let's answer the first. What do you want in the future? Because why are you deviating? Goodness gracious.
The Meru man wants...
Stay on track.
The Meru man, as he speaks of himself in the third person.
Here we go.
A Meru man wants space.
Yes.
I want space to expand my career, grow Mantalk into its full potential, as well as to interact with our community a little bit more and to be able to grow that into something that is meaningful. That's what I'm praying and hoping to be able to achieve in the next calendar year. And our live show, I really want that badly. I really want that badly. I think we've had a vision for it for a long time.
Very long time.
But I want that bash to bash.
Yeah, we bash. Yeah.
No,
I like that. That makes sense. I think if I was to, and I think all the actions you've done this year point to that being the case. So yeah, to the space you're talking about, I've watched you like cultivate it very intentionally. So being a passenger on your journey has always been the thrill of my life. We always see life as an absolute movie. If you knew the back end of what happens on our phone calls and what happens with the check-in and the decision making and I'm going to do this. And there's certain ways, like when you get to know somebody very, very well, you can see patterns in how they communicate certain scenarios. And there's some scenarios where Oscar will tell you this, there'll be a decision he has to make. And the way he articulates how he feels about the decision typically determines if it's going to come to pass.
You said this.
There's certain ways that he'll use absolutes in when he's speaking, or he'll use words that are open questions. And so there's been a few absolutes that have been said this past year. And it's been the thrill of my life to watch as they become reality.
As I said, this is going to happen.
This is going to happen. Yes, this is, yes. So, take from that what you hear. But,
I know.
But no, so next year, based on what I've heard via our check-ins, I think everything you said will come to pass for sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I think, going into this next year, I think I want peace.
Oh, man has reached the top of the mountain.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, I think I want peace. And I really want to have more full, wholesome, and meaningful interactions. Like, I'm not creating, again, space for anything that's shallow, doesn't serve me, forced, or performative. Like, I don't have time or room for that going into the next year. So I think I'm just very excited for operating in a much smaller, I said this very first episode, a much smaller space with people who mean a lot to me and distributing my time according to my goals as well. So I think that's what I'm very excited for. It would be lovely to find a partner next year. That'd be beautiful. That'd be really, really nice. So I'm not going to give all my attributes here, but yeah, it'd be lovely for that to happen next year. I am 33 years old. And
imagine 30.
Yeah, looking this good.
30?
You're 33.
That's crazy.
Trez.
Magical.
Yeah, that would be really beautiful. But again, as God wills it. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And also, I think I've kind of, I said this, I don't know if it was on camera. I feel like I've kind of reset back to exactly who I was when I started a lot of my ventures. Because you can start something with a certain energy, vim, vision, but life can get chaotic. But I feel like I've gone back to that. And when I'm in this space and in this this bag and mindset, like really good things happen.
Yeah.
And it can be, it can be amazing if you're with me and scary if you're not. So
yeah.
I'm excited. So I'm really, I'm really excited to be.
that. Hey,
But it could
okay.
be a very exciting year if I enter it with this kind of energy. And yeah, all things considered, that's what's going to happen.
Whew.
So-
Let me tell you something, guys.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Tell them.
I'll let you know, guys. I've known this guy a long time.
You have 7 years now.
I've known this bastard
Yeah.
a long time. And let me say,
Uh-oh.
the thing about you is that you're the type of guy who, you know, there's this verse in the Bible that says, if you catch the thief and proclaim that you have caught him, you will be rewarded sevenfold once you have caught that thief. My guy, I feel like you've caught the thief. The problems that have been in your life, the strain that has been there, the tensions that have existed, I felt you now finally get to a place where, like, that's something of the past. These are things of the past that are no longer hindering your decision making. In fact, you're now in the IDGF. You don't give a crap. That's the energy you've been moving with. Hey, so I know for a fact that next year, everything that was meant for you that didn't come will come back sevenfold. And
Thank you.
it's restoration. Like, I feel like 2026 is, we proclaim that is a restorative year.
Amen.
It's where, like, all of the stuff that, you know, was said, was done, that's gone now. Whoever ate off of that, you ate and the plate is over. Now you have to be actually about that life. Now it's about, like, are you really about that life? And it's finally time for you to, like, get yours and grow, bro. And I'm very proud of you. I've seen you go through a lot of, I think the word, the kids call it bullshit.
And the adults.
Yeah. I've seen you go through a lot of crap that just doesn't make sense. For those people who know you, we literally had to build a fence, if you remember, to make sure that you're protected and that you feel that any of the stuff that's online or any of the people that are not necessarily adding any growth to you had to be kept out. And finally, like, we're seeing that investment pay off where now you're finally, like, in this, like, go get it energy. And when you're in this energy, bro, great things happen.
Yeah, no, thank you. It means a lot. Yeah, you've been a absolute anchor during this process. So yeah, I think that's why it's so beautiful, like I said, to create something with somebody, because it kind of bleeds into all aspects of life. So I think the brotherhood that you've given me, especially during the last year, has been one of the biggest factors as to why we're here, still in front of the cameras, still talking.
And I want it to be known that God forgives, but sometimes I don't. Let it be known. I'll even say it on camera. I've watched, I've been quiet. God forgives, I don't. I don't forgive. That I leave to God. What's going to happen in 2026? God forgives, I don't. So that's all I'll say.
Very, very true. Yeah.
God forgives.
Yeah.
Everything that was meant to come will now be taken at 7 times the price it was gone.
Come on, man.
So that's just all I'm saying.
Yeah. Nah, beautiful. And I think that's why you have friends to say things that, you know, for you have become irrelevant, so you don't have to speak on them. So to have somebody be your megaphone
forgives.
makes
God
a lot.
forgives.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Love that. I think that can be applied to any situation.
Every
And
situation.
If you're going through something as well, have a partner that can stand there and have the wrath that, you know, you've dilated. Yeah.
Yes.
Diluted.
I have.
Yes. No, amazing. So I feel like that's probably the end of the episode, man.
Did you feel so?
I feel like it's been the end of the season. I think the whole, like, it's so interesting when they first came to us and they said, you know, brighter stories. Yes, it was the mission, but it happened so naturally with the conversations we've had over the last few weeks. Everyone's kind of shared something, like when they've sat here, they've shared something about their journey and their story that I think could impact people watching.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's been about. And when we sit down and there's a mission, when you go to the war room, of what we want the season to feel like, we want people to feel when they watch it, how we want them to interact, I think this is one of the seasons where we've really hit every single goal that we had with it. So I think that's been in my life, man. It's been fun.
It's been fun. Next season, we're opening up the war room.
There we go.
You're going to know it. You're going to see it on the stories.
There we go.
Be sure to like on Instagram if you're new here. Check it out. Share, subscribe, go on TikTok, go on YouTube.
Tell them.
Share It's Bread Story.
Hello.
All the videos. We have a full We have a lot of content for you. Please go and watch that. And thank you so much for supporting us this season. I think this is the best performing season Mantalk has ever had. Everybody,
Isn't it crazy?
clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves.
Isn't it crazy to just
Best performing season Mantalk has ever had. Shout out to Wanini.
There we go.
Background.
Hallelujah.
Shout out to the baddie in the back, Anita.
Hello.
Austin, you're not a baddie, but it's fine.
It's
Thank
crazy
you
to get
all.
better after 6 years, no?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
It's crazy. Better after 6 years.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And you're looking great, brother.
You're looking fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
You know, a little well fed.
Yeah, that is
A little well fed, but don't worry, guys. There'll be a fitness season.
There we go. Kaz has been here. Kaz has been here. We're back again.
Kaz has been here.
Yeah,
Timmy
has been here. Hey, gosh, others were meant to be here.
Others were meant to be here, but hey.
As always, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Half as much.
We enjoyed making it because we
had a ball.
See you next season. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Feliz Navidad.
Christmas.